In today's video, I will show you the complete demonstration how we can create a AWS EKS, and EKS it is production level Kubernetes cluster, and I will show you the complete hands-on demo with the command you have to use. So if you see the entire video, you can easily create a EKS cluster. First, I will give the overview of the documentation. Then I will explain. Then I will show the hands-on demo. Before we start the video, just a quick reminder: if you haven't subscribed the channel, subscribe the channel, because after completing the 60-day course, I will also create cloud and DevOps related video which will help your professional career. So don't forget to subscribe the channel. Now let's start today's class. So first, here I put introduction to EKS. So what is EKS? So mainly AWS EKS is a production level Kubernetes cluster, and it's provided by AWS, so Amazon Managed Kubernetes Service. Why professional? Because EKS handles control panel, security, scalability, integrate with AWS IAM, VPC, load balancer, CloudOps. So everything will handle by AWS. So we don't need to handle anything. So it's much easier, but it has costing because AWS handled everything for us. So that's why it is a bit kind of expensive. So ideal for production workload. So when we are using production level cluster, we are mainly use EKS. If you don't want to maintain the Kubernetes cluster, then we are using EKS. So now I'll show the hands-on full steps. First I will give you the overview, then I will explain, and then I will show the demo parallelly. So firstly, we have some prerequisites. Firstly, we need to install AWS CLI, then we need to configure AWS CLI, and for that purpose we need a IAM account which have access of these things, or we can use administrator full access. Then by this user you can create AWS configure. Then you need to install install eksctl. So eksctl is the tools which run this command to deploy the cluster. So for that purpose you just run that command. Then you need to install kubectl. You just copy this command and paste your command line. It will create your it will install kubectl. Then for create the EKS cluster, this is the main command. So you need to run this command to create the EKS cluster. So this is the cluster name, and this is the version we are using, Kubernetes version, and which region we want to create, you may put it here. And this is the node name, and this is the main important thing, T3 micro. So you have to make sure you take at least 2 core CPU. Otherwise, if you take 1 core CPU, it will create the cluster, but when you try to deploy an application, you are not able to do that. So that's why it's recommended to deploy with T3 medium or anything which has at least 2 core CPU. Then you need to take 2 nodes, so it will take 2 nodes, minimum 2 or maximum 4, and manage. If you run this command, it will deploy your EKS cluster, and it will take around 20 to 30 minutes, depends on your internet space. So I mentioned here what will do these things. So create cluster, name DevOps cluster. So we put it DevOps cluster. So it will use 1.29 Kubernetes version because we are using 1.29, and manage node group with T3 medium. Because we are taking T3 medium nodes. So it will automatically scale 2 to 4 if our usage is going high. Now after deploying, we need to verify our cluster is created or not. So for verifying our cluster, you need to run this command, kubectl get nodes and kubectl get port -a. Then you can see all system related port are showing. Now we'll deploy a application, sample application in this cluster. So for deploying any cluster, you just use this command, kubectl create deployment. Are we using Nginx Emacs, and we are using service which is exposed in 80 port. So if you see this is running and you get that service and you can browse the service, that means your cluster is properly working. Then for checking the service, you just kubectl get SBC or kubectl get service, any command you use to get the SBC. So for cleanup, EKS is kind of expensive, so make sure after you done the demo, you delete the cluster. So for deleting the cluster or cleaning your cluster, you need to write this command, EKS delete cluster, and put your cluster name here. You are using DevOps cluster, so what name you are using, put that one here. Then make sure you give the region name, and it will delete the cluster. Now let me explain details, and parallelly I will show you the hands-on demo. Let me scroll up. So go to the control panel. So if you run AWS like AWS S3LS, you can see AWS CLI is not installed in this EC2 server. So this is a like simple Ubuntu AWS EC2 T2 micro. We don't need to like make it in a powerful EC2. It's simple. T2 micro is enough for do the task. Okay, so first we need to install AWS CLI. We can basically run this command to install, or if you go to like Google, you can see that in the AWS section there is some steps to install the AWS CLI. So I have already one command is here. So when I like update the documentation, then you can get this command also. So now I forget to add that one. So let me first call that AWS CLI. So now we see there is a folder is downloaded folder, zip folder. So we need to unzip. So unzip, it is not installed. So sudo So now sudo .aws so now if you type AWS S3LS, it will work. Okay, because it is not connected to this account, that's why it's showing. But before you see, that command was not working. So now basically it's working because you can see the command is unable to locate the credential. So we need to put our credential. So we need to like use AWS configure this command to connect our IAM role. So for that purpose, we need to create a IAM role. So let me go to the AWS console to create a IAM role. So we need to type IAM. And in the AWS module, basically I will show everything from like scratch to intermediate level. So we are using EKS, is AWS feature. So that's why if you don't have any idea, you can see the AWS module section. There you have enough knowledge to like operate the AWS. So I need to create a AWS user. So let me create AWS user. So create user EKS 36. So if I want to put in admin section, so like after we make the demo, I'll delete the credential. So here is we need to create a access key and secret key. So here you can see there is no access key is created. So create access key. So command line interface, I understand. Create a description, you can put anything like EKS 36. Create access key. Okay, so now we need to use this command to configure the AWS CLI. So let me copy that one. So we need to run AWS configure. Then you need to put that ID. Then you need to type this access key, security access key. This is the like kind of password. Then I want to default US is 1. And forward you can put anything, or just is fine, or you can skip. But now if you type AWS S3LS, you can see the like bucket is showing. So now it is ready to like communicate with AWS. So like in my EC2, this is the basically my EC2. This server is now we are working from this server. This is a simple server, T2 micro, you can see. From this server, we will create a EKS. So when EKS created done, then you can see there will be two more EC2. that EC2 basically are our worker node. All our pod or everything will be deployed that worker node. So then after creating the EKS, you can see there is 2 more server. Okay, so now go to the documentation and see what is our next step. So we done the AWS configure and the AWS CLI. Then we need to install eksctl. For installing eksctl, you can use this 2 command. eksctl. You can see our eksctl is installed and it's showing the version. Now we need to install kubectl. So for installing kubectl, we need to run this command. chmod. This URL basically didn't work. It didn't find the file. Let me grab it from my thing. ctl. I will update the file also because this link is not working. So now this is working. So chmod kubectl. Now you can move this to the directory. Okay, kubectl. You can see it's installed now. Okay, so now our main command is coming now. So we have done all the prerequisites. So now we will create the EKS cluster from this PC. So for using eksctl command, you need to write eksctl, then you need to type create, then you get the cluster, then name of the cluster, which version you want to use, then you need to mention the region, which region you want to create that EKS, and you will give a node group name, then what type of server you want to use, then how many nodes you want. So if you use 2 nodes, then there will be 2 EC2 create, you can see, then minimum node, maximum node. These are not basically mandatory things. I have one here that are there mandatory thing. So let me copy my one. So go to here, we clear this screen first. Okay, so let me change something. So cluster, create cluster, test cluster. Let me change the version. 1.29. 1.26 is a little bit old. So region used 1, node group, Linux nodes is fine. This is just a name, nothing else. So node type, make it a little bit stronger server. So instead of using T2 micro, let me use T3 medium. So then node 2. So if you run this command, it will start to create the EKS cluster. So if everything is fine. So let me run the command, and you can see it's showing is green and blue. So it's going to create the EKS cluster, and it's take around 10 to 15 minutes to create the EKS cluster. So let me pause the video. So after it's done, I will come back again. So let me pause the video. So now we can see our cluster is already created and it's showing region is ready. So for see this thing, so let me kubectl get nodes, then you can see how many nodes it has. So you can see there is 2 nodes, and you can see this EC2 internal EC2 though. So 2 EC2 server. So if you run kubectl get pods minus, if you basically run kubectl get pods, it will don't show any pod because we didn't run anything. So if you mention the name is, so you need to type capital A. So you can see these are the basically system pods. Okay, so let me show one thing to AWS. Now you can see there is only EC2 server. So if you refresh, you can see 2 more server will be created. You can see, and what cluster name we put, that cluster and node name is there. Okay, so now if you type EKS, you can also see there EKS related information there. The test cluster is already created, and it's related all information you will get it from here. Okay, so let me go back to documentation again. So here is a documentation. So we already created, and we can see Kubernetes 1.29 version and T3 medium, and now we can see the nodes. Now let me just create simple Nginx by using Nginx. Simply just create a deployment. So just use this command kubectl create deployment, and it will take Nginx image. So it's created. Now I need to expose the service. So we are using EKS, so now we are able to use load balancer. So without EKS, we are not able to using load balancer. So when you are using Minikube, we have no option to use the load balancer. So if we use this one, it will create a load balancer, and we can see that load balancer is in our AWS. So kubectl get all, you can see everything now. So its pod is running, and this is the load balancer URL. So if you grab that one, you can see the Nginx default website. So let me go to the URL. And maybe sometimes it will take a little bit time. So if you didn't see the page, don't worry, it will come. It will come, so you need to wait a little bit time. So if you go to the AWS section, EC2, there is a load balancer. So you can see is going to create. Let me refresh that now. You can see now it's showing the Nginx default page. Okay, so you can see how easily we can use EKS to deploy any production level Kubernetes application. So this way basically we are using production level Kubernetes cluster application, and in EKS AWS will manage everything for us. We don't need to worry about anything. So, and for that purpose we need to pay something. Okay, so let me go to the documentation again. So we can create the deployment, and now if you want to delete the deployment, you can also see you select Gateway visit, will show the service. We don't need to that one. This is fine. So we need to delete the cluster. For that purpose we need to use eksctl delete, then the cluster, then name of the cluster and the region of the cluster. So here is the cluster name is we type test cluster or something. So now let me show the delete the cluster also. Okay, so this is our main server. From here we need to type eksctl, then delete. Let me copy that command, that will be easier for us. Just change the, so in case delete cluster, then our cluster name is test cluster. I think you put test cluster. If you don't find the name, you can go to the EKS, we can get the name also. So EKS delete cluster, that's just name. So let me type that one. You can see it will going to delete the cluster. Same way, basically it will take some time. So after around 5 to 6 minutes it will delete the cluster. And make sure you after practice the test, delete the EKS cluster because it's a little bit expensive. So basically that's all for today's video. I hope this video is helpful for you. So if you found this video is helpful, don't forget to like, share, subscribe the channel, and I will put everything what I use here, and I will also update the documentation file. So up to next video, best of luck, bye.